أناجي الحق في ليل بهيم أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى أناجي الحق في ليل بهيم أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum, and welcome to Perspective. My name is Faizel Patel. On tonight's show, we look at the tell-all book, Reeva, My Daughter, by June Steenkamp, the arrest of BDS campaigners at a Woolies store, the shooting of soccer star Senzo Meyiwa, and we also look at some tech news. Remember, you can interact with me by sending me a mail on Faizel at itvnetworks.tv. You can even drop me a tweet on at Faizi143, or you can comment on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. Reeva Steenkamp's mother, June Steenkamp, has slammed Oscar Pistorius in a tell-all book. Reeva Steenkamp's mother has reportedly written that she does not believe the shooting of her daughter Reeva was an accident and does not believe his versions of the events that took place on that fateful night. Now, the Sunday Times reported that in June Steenkamp's book, Reeva, A Mother's Story, she says her daughter would have screamed when her boyfriend Oscar Pistorius wounded her. Now, last week, the Paralympian was sentenced to 5 years in prison for culpable homicide for the 14th of February 2013 killing of his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. Now, an extract of the book has been published by Time magazine. And in it, June Steenkamp also writes that it's clear that something went horribly wrong that night, and she believes Reeva was so upset about something that she hid behind a locked door with 2 mobile phones. Now, June also said that Reeva confided in her that she and the Paralympic champion did spend nights together, but never consummated the relationship, and that she was also scared to take the relationship to the next level. Now, she describes Pistorius as a gun-toting, trigger-happy, possessive, and shifty, and said that Reeva was going to leave Oscar, and if Oscar did not shoot Reeva, he would have shot someone else. Now, also, you need to remember that Oscar is now behind bars. There are reports on the first night, and it was splashed across various media and newspapers, that on the first night he actually cried. They could hear him weeping. And this is the reality of prison. He had to face time. Also, it's reported that the case, and we did speak about this in a previous episode on Perspective, that the case was going to cost him a lot of money. It is reported that the case has cost a total of 17 million rand. 17 million rand, quite an exorbitant amount of money. It is also reported that there is still a balance of 10 million rand that's outstanding. Oscar has sold his house where he shot Reeva Steenkamp. He sold his cars, and Roo made a statement in court during sentencing that the athlete is basically bankrupt. He doesn't have any money, and now what happens is, because he's in prison, the onus of paying the bill falls upon his uncle, and there is a dispute also falling on that particular one. The uncle doesn't want to pay the money, and there was also reports that Barry Roo knows that he might not even get the money. So 17 million rand, a lot of money, but it wasn't all for Barry Roo. This total amount was also part of all the experts they got to testify during the trial. So quite an exorbitant bill there as well. And then also, it's also reported that the National Prosecuting Authority is going to appeal the case, and they want, obviously, the explanation of dolus eventualis by Judge Masipa, obviously, to see how she determined that particular case, how she read dolus eventualis. And the appeal will come. They have 14 days to respond to that. We understand that the National Prosecuting Authority will file the papers in the next few days, and let's see what comes from there as well. And if it does go to appeal, obviously Oscar will have to get maybe Barry Roo again as his attorney or as an advocate, and Whether he will take the case, I'm sure he will, but it's going to cost him a lot more money as well. And the book that June Steenkamp wrote is due to be published on the 6th of November. South Africa-wise, I'm not sure, but you can look out for this as well. Another story that we're going to be looking at is the Woolworths boycott. Last week, at least 57 people who protested in a Woolworths store in Killarney Mall were arrested on Saturday. Now, the protesters, led by the rights group Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions, or BDS for short, are calling for the retailer to stop importing products from Israel. Now, the police's Constable Thabo Malachi said the group was charged with public disturbance. And to quote, he says they went to Woolies and started disturbing customers inside the shop. Now, the spokesperson for BDS, Tasneem Esop from BDS, who organized the protest, said some of those arrested were minors. That means they were young children, or maybe people younger than 16 years old. Now, she said the protest was completely peaceful, and demonstrators had simply walked into the shop and lay on the ground with their placards. Also, what she did explain was that the activists were not arrested inside Woolworths, but were already outside of the mall doors when they were approached by the police. Now, Woolworths obviously has released a statement, and what they said the safety of its customers and employees was of its highest priority. So Woolworths has released a statement. Now, a group of people, at the time when these 57 were arrested, they gathered at the Hillbrow station because this is where police took them, and they called for the protesters to be released. And obviously you've seen it on social media as well. Now, further to this story, and we're going to expound on it as well, last week, a Congress of South African Students, or COSAS member, placed the head of a pig in the kosher meat section of a Woolworths store in Cape Town. And this also has been making waves. Now, BDS has since distanced itself from the pig head found at Woolworths. So what they did is, in a statement, the group said the latest actions of young people placing pig heads at various Woolworths stores, although aimed at increasing pressure on Woolworths, are not supported, endorsed, or encouraged by Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions, or BDS South Africa. And to quote, they say, "We believe that the methods used, namely placing pigs' heads in South African Woolworths stores, are very controversial and may not be properly thought through." And I think it is. I mean, here you got a peaceful boycott, and all of a sudden, now people are being subjected to pig heads being placed, and these things are sanctuous. It's a sanctity of halal and kosher. When you walk through a halal restaurant, and if you see a pig's head, automatically it just creates a distaste in your mouth. And then they go on to say, it may be argued that the placing of a pig's head is a form of militant human rights action. However, there is a great amount of sensitivity surrounding halal and kosher food. And there is. We're not going to go into the whole halal kosher situation, but it does put, like I said, leave a bad taste in your mouth. Now, the pig heads have now effectively made various Woolworths stores, according to BDS, a complete no-go zone for those that buy kosher or halal, as those areas are now contaminated. Now, another story that's been making headlines throughout South Africa, and from Monday right up until even this evening, South Africa's high crime rate, and especially its murder rate, is again in the spotlight worldwide, following the murder in what is believed to have been a burglary of Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa. We've seen a story, and it's just continuing. It is getting so much attention. Police have offered a reward of 250,000 rand for information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of those involved. Now, on that particular point, what I'm saying is that this Bafana Bafana player is a national hero. He's a captain of Orlando Pirates. He's a captain of Bafana Bafana. But why all the attention on him only? What if there's another murder? should the police not be more vigorous in all murders besides this one? Now, National Police Commissioner Reeva said the country's top regional and national detectives have been appointed to investigate the fatal shooting of Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa. Now, Meyiwa was shot dead at the house of singer Kelly Khumalo on Sunday night. A massive manhunt is on the way for the two suspects, some say three, who made off with only a cell phone. So everything for killing a superstar or soccer star for one cell phone. One of the suspects was described as tall, slender, with dark skin and also dreadlocks. The second man was short, also had dark skin tone, and was also well built. Now, what did Reeva said? That they are appealing sincerely to the public to assist with the case and believe someone somewhere somehow knows what happened or something about this particular crime. And then she also said that this type of loss is undesirable for our country and doesn't bode well for the country's image, and it doesn't. Now, Meyiwa was the second death of a South African sportsman at the weekend after a former 800-meter Olympic silver medalist Umbulayeni Malawudzi was killed in a car crash on Friday last week in the morning. Malawudzi will be buried on Saturday. Now, the question I want to leave you with, and you can comment on my social media, Twitter, on Facebook, on my email. Do you think that the police should give as much priority to all crimes, whether it's a celebrity or not? I think they should. I think all crimes should be treated with the same vigor and the same tenacity and the same support that this case of the soccer star is going. Let me know your thoughts and comments. We're going to go for a break. After the break, we're going to be speaking about another story that's been making headlines. Stay tuned to Perspective.
أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى إلهي صرت في ظرف عصيب فاكشف البلوى فيا ربي أنا.
Welcome back to Perspective. Before the break, we were speaking about South Africa's crime and murder rate. Now, with regards to the soccer story or the soccer star story we were speaking before the break, anyone with information can call Crime Stop on 08600 10111, or you can SMS Crime Line on 32211 if you have any information on this particular case. Now, another story that we want to speak about, and it might be a good field story, on completion, it will be the largest South African flag on the planet, made almost entirely of local plants. Last week, the giant flag project was launched in the Valley of Desolation in the Kemadibu National Park, about 5 kilometers from Graaf Reinet. Now, the founder of the giant flag, his name is Kai Lieberman, said it will be made of 2.5 million colored desert succulents and 4 megawatt solar field. Now, construction is set to begin in early 2015 on a conference venue and tourism hub. Now, the main feature will be the giant flag, a South African flag made of millions of succulents in red, green, blue, and yellow. Now, 2 colors on the flag won't be made of succulents, and these are the white lines will be made of road, and the black triangle will consist of LED solar panels. Now, the final product made of plants, road, and solar panels will be as big as 66 soccer fields. Just imagine how massive this particular flag will be. Now, those involved say the building phase alone will cost around about 170 million rand. And when completed, development is intended to sustain over 700 permanent jobs. Now, the giant flag project will cost about 180 million rand overall. Now, local, provincial, and municipal government, corporate sponsors, and partners like the Development Bank of South Africa have signed on to the project. to do this particular project. And it's absolutely brilliant as well. Now, I want to digress a little bit from that. Have we actually seen South Africa? We know that December is approaching very fast. Many people have made their holidays destinations, their plans to go on holidays. Some people go overseas. Some people even go visit locally. Some people don't go holiday at all. And to give an example, these things cost money, a lot of money. And to book a destination or to go for holiday costs a lot of money. Sometimes maybe it's easier to drive, sometimes maybe it's easier to fly. It obviously given the preference. But instead of going overseas, there are such beautiful places in South Africa. Maybe we should visit our own beautiful places like Graafrenet and see what beautiful places there are. There's flag that's coming on there. Enjoy the local scenery that we have in our country. Something to consider before making holiday plans for December. Now, we also know that matric exams have started as well, and the Department of Basic Education has called on communities to avoid disrupting the matric exam schedule with service delivery protests. We've seen it happening, and it last year as well, that these protests cause a disruption, and it happens at an inopportune time, especially during the matric exams. Now, more than 600,000 students wrote their first official matric paper on Monday, but students in Kuruman in the Northern Cape will be writing the exams next year during the supplementary period due to violent protests in that particular area that barred children from going to school. Now, if you remember the story goes as such where parents didn't send their children to school for a long time, maybe I think up to 3 months or 4 months, because they wanted tarred roads. They were protesting for tarred roads. Now, if you don't go to school for 3 months, how far does that put you back with regards to the work that you need to complete? You lose out a lot of work. And eventually, it comes to a time where you don't know what to do, and it's too long and tedious for the teacher to actually go through the whole syllabus in time so that exams can be written. Now, in Madibeng, in the northwest, pupils couldn't also attend school earlier this month due to demonstrations over water. And that story is also continuing. And we're seeing this protest all over. Now, the Basic Education Department spokesperson, Elijah Mhlanga, appealed to the communities for peace during exam time. And also, I think maybe we should. Please, for those that are writing exams, they want peace and quiet. This is their life that is beginning. This determines where they will go in life. So rather be courteous and try to avoid such protests while the matrics are writing their exams. Now, the ANC also wished matriculants well for their final examinations. The spokesperson for the ruling party, Zizi Kodwa, said matric examinations are the culmination of many years of grooming and preparation for both the learners and educators. And how important is that particular point? This is the most important examination. This is what determines where you will go in life. What I'm saying is that if you're writing for a senior certificate, which everybody of them are, but you want to go to university, you want to go to college, have you decided on a career? For those that are watching this program this evening, have you decided on what career you're going to follow? Have you decided which university you want to go? And obviously, determination or entrance into these organizations are obviously on the matric results. So let me know what your thoughts and comments are. Now, just some stats on that as well. A total of 688,660 matriculants are registered to write the 2014 National Senior Certificate Examinations, which started on Monday. Now, of this number, 550,127 were full-time and 138,533 part-time candidates. Now, the examinations would be held at 6,735 centers across all 9 provinces with the help of about 65,000 invigilators. Now, the economic freedom fighters also wished the pupils well and urged the Higher Education Department to admit as many pupils as possible to tertiary institutions. Now, that's a contentious point, and why I say contentious is that we can't lower the level of education. And maybe this is not what the EFF is implying, but what I'm saying is that the criteria to get into a institution, a tertiary institution, must be maintained at a level. If, for argument's sake, that students are suffering in school at the moment with the current curriculum, and normally statistics have shown that once pupils go to university or learners go to university, the university environment is completely different and it becomes extremely difficult, and then you get first year failures, which is quite a bit. So it's something to consider as well. Now, the Basic Education Minister, Angie Motshekga, was expected to announce the outcome of the examinations. So after they have written the examinations, a lot of people are now anxious. You have to go through your December holidays. Some people don't even make plans because they want to wait for the results before they decide it, and they can take a breather to know whether they pass. So take note of this. The announcement of the outcome of the examinations will be made on 5th January. The results will be released officially on the 6th of January. Like I said, it becomes very, very difficult because that you feel that you've written the exams, and most of the families, they wouldn't go on holiday because they want to, obviously, that their child try to wait for the results that come through, and you can't enjoy holidays, especially whether you don't know whether you passed or not. So take note of those dates, January 5th and January 6th, when the exam results will be released. And also, like I said, I posed a question earlier. I want to know what your thoughts and comments are on a career that you are going. What about matric exams? Let's talk about matric exams. I've written my matric many, many, many years ago. How has the level changed from what we wrote before to now? Did you have a time that an ambition that you wanted to pursue? What did you do with yourself? How did you go about studying? It's obviously a very exciting time for matrics, but also a very nervous time for the matrics because they are writing their exams as well. Let me know your thoughts and comments on my Twitter handle on @Faizel143, or you can even mail me as well. Coming on to our tech segments. Remember last week I was speaking about the iPhone. Well, this is the new iPhone. It is absolutely brilliant. This is the iPhone 6 Plus, and we're going to be speaking about it in the next few minutes. It is absolutely brilliant. You can have a look at it. It's slightly bigger. It is very much thinner, and also it is absolutely brilliant. So, South Africans braved the early morning hours as hype built up around the local launch of the latest iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus. Now, Apple's latest iPhone 6 and 6 Plus went on sale in South Africa on Friday, and fans waited until, listen to this, 12 a.m. for the chance to buy one. And trust me, there was limited stock. One mobile operator said the iPhone launches are always a big deal in the smartphone world, and this year was no exception because this phone is touted to be the best iPhone yet. Now, in Cape Town, a retailer told Fin24 that there was a rush on iPhone when the store opened at 6 a.m. Now, the phone officially went on sale at 12 midnight on Friday morning. So on Thursday night, 12 midnight, on Friday morning, the phone went on sale, and most of these mobile operators had massive launches if you went to one of them. And the queues, some of them was just absolutely massive. Now, the new iPhone is significantly larger. Like I said, than its predecessor. As you can see, I am holding it in my hand, and it is absolutely larger. To give you an idea, it's like I said, quite big, but it is also very comfortable to use in the hand. Like I said, significantly larger than its predecessor, and despite accusations that the 14 centimeter or 5.5 inch device is susceptible to bending. Now, I've got mine for almost a week. Well, less than a week, and I've had it in my pocket most of the time, and it hasn't bent. Well, not yet, at least anyway, since the rumors is going around. And the devices have boosted profits for Apple. So, like I said, it is absolutely a brilliant phone. It's just rocked totally. Now, the Apple CEO, Tim Cook, said when the devices went on sale in the United States and other major markets, pre-orders for iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus set a new record for Apple, and they wouldn't wait to get their best iPhones yet into the hands of customers, which went on sale. South African celebrities have also rushed to embrace the iPhone. Now, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of the iPhone? Did you get the new iPhone 6? Did you get the new iPhone 6 Plus? What are your thoughts and comments? I feel Absolutely brilliant phone. If you haven't get it, it syncs brilliantly with your iPad, with your MacBook. And for us in the industry that we are in, media, radio, TV, whatever it is, it just absolutely works brilliant. Absolutely thin, as you can see. So have a look at it and let me know what your thoughts and comments are. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of another edition of Perspective for this week. Join me again next week, inshallah, when we again discuss stories that are making local, national, and international headlines. You're welcome to interact with me by sending me a mail on Faizel@itvnetworks.tv, or you can even drop me a tweet on @Faizi.143 or facebook.com/Faizel Patel. From myself, Faizel Patel, and the great team here at ITV, fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أناجي الحق في ليل لهيب أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى أناجي الحق في ليل لهيب أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى صرت في ظرف عصيب فاكشف البلوى فيا ربي أنا عبد لرد الضيم لا يقوى أعني ربي في أمر